All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Impact, 1948. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I love this movie. It's got Brian Donlevy from The Great McGinty. For some reason, I didn't like The Great McGinty, but he was great in this one. The poster looks amazing. I want that poster, just like I want the Chase poster with the orange vertigo thing going on. Impact is a 1949 U.S. film noir drama film directed by Arthur Lubin, starring Brian Donlevy and Ella Raines. I don't know Ella Raines. She was a crime pictures film noir, but also drama, comedy, and westerns. I haven't seen any of her other movies. Filmed entirely in California, the film includes scenes in Sausalito and at San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf and other locations around the city. Impact was based on a story by film noir writer J. Drotler. The supporting cast features Charles Corburn, Helen Walker, I forget what movie she was in. Anna May Wong, very good looking Chinese U.S. film star in Hollywood. Philip Ahn, the first Korean American Chinese character. No, I'm just kidding. He's a Korean dude. He has over 180 film and television credits between 1935 and 1978, including Kung Fu. Remember David Carradine, Kung Fu, 1972? The Western that lasted 3 seasons? Philip Ahn was in that. San Francisco-based millionaire industrialist Walter Williams, Brian Donlevy has a young wife, Irene, Helen Walker, who's trying to kill him with the help of her young lover, Jim Torrance, Tony Barrett. After Walter and Irene make plans to drive to Lake Tahoe, Irene feigns illness, and she asks Walter to instead give Torrance, who's pretending to be Irene's cousin from Illinois, a lift to Denver, allowing Torrance a chance to murder Walter en route. The plan falls apart when Williams survives a hit on the head from the would-be killer with a lug wrench. They got a flat tire and dude just whopped him over the head off camera, of course. Attempting to flee the scene in Williams' Packard convertible, Torrance dies in a fiery head-on collision with a gasoline tanker truck. The body of Torrance is mistakenly identified as Williams. In the meantime, Irene has made reservations at a hotel in Oakland for her and her boyfriend to meet afterwards under the assumed names of Mr. and Mrs. Jack Burns. Oakland is across the San Francisco Bay Bridge. The wounded Daze Williams passes out in the back of a moving van, and he ends up in the small town of Larkspur, Ohio. Larkspur, Idaho, not Ohio, Idaho. Using the name Bill Walker, he gets a job as a service station mechanic, and he falls in love with Marcia Peters, Ella Raines, a young widow who is the station's owner, whose husband was killed in the Battle of Okinawa. Meanwhile, the police arrest Williams' wife for his murder. Williams eventually tells Marcia the truth, and Marcia persuades him to go back to clear his wife. he wants revenge on her. He just wants her to rot in jail. But at one point, he says, if you turn the other cheek, somebody will hit you over the head with a lug wrench. But he listens to Marcia. He's got a guilty conscience, so he's going to be good to his cheating wife. When he does, he is exponentially charged by the incompetent and naive district attorney with murdering Torrance. Due to the lies of his wife, against whom charges are dismissed. So you got the little plot twists going. This one is produced by Harry Poppin Productions and Cardinal Pictures, distributed by United Artists. Release date March 19th, 1949 in New York City. The rest of the United States, April 1st, 1949. Running time, 111 minutes. Budget of $900,000. That's a lot of money back in 1949. Marcia, especially for a black and white picture, Marcia enlists the help of the wise expert police detective Lieutenant Tom Quincy, played by Charles Coburn, to prove Walter's innocence with the additional evidence of the housekeeper Sue Lin, played by a very attractive Anna May Wong. The hotel key is found, leading them to Torrance's suitcase of the hotel, and Walter is freed. His wife is then rearrested, this time charged with conspiracy to murder. They slap the cuffs on her during the trial. Arthur Lubin signed to direct in June 1948. Harry Poppin raised the budget to $900,000. Filming began in San Francisco on September 14th. The Bayview Apartments, the site of the Williams Nob Hill penthouse, in actuality is weeks and days historic Bank apartments at 1000 Mason Street in San Francisco. The actual town of Larkspur, California, was used for the filming of the fictional town of Larkspur, Ohio. Several areas in and around Larkspur can be seen, including the Probert family's home and gas station at 234 and 238 Magnolia Avenue, the location that was recently occupied by the Tavern of Lark at Lark Creek. Since 2015, the Grand Old House had been the home of Perry's Restaurant, a popular sports bar inside, but with the same quiet beauty in the outside dining areas. Larkspur is where people take the ferry to San Francisco. I used to deliver groceries in Larkspur until I gave up that sorry career finally. This was Anna May Wong's first screen appearance since the 1942. Character actor Tom Greenaway made his first appearance on screen as an unarmed moving van driver. Gossip reporter Celia Graham appears as herself reading a news item about the case on the radio. In the 1940s, it was still uncommon for brand name products to be seen in movies, but this was a notable exception. Walter Williams Packard convertible and a Beacon's moving van are prominent in several scenes. The movie trade paper Harrison's Reports typically called attention to cases in which sold products appeared on screen and always took a stand against that practice, although its review did not mention Packard or Beacons. The Harrison's review noted advertising plugs worked in for such products as Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, Raleigh cigarettes, Coca-Cola Mission Orange soda, pop, mobile gasoline, oil and tires, Gren watches, and the trade name Rexall. I noticed that there were a lot of advertisements and signs in this movie, like the ones in Sausalito. I think that's where he picks up the hitchhiker in Sausalito. In addition, Lakin at CI or I. Magnan and Company is featured in the opening credits. Lakin at CI was a leading West Coast jeweler during the period with an important salon in San Francisco during the time the movie was shot in 1948. In the opening scenes, Donlevy's character, Walter Williams, presents his wife with a custom Lakin et Cie intertwined diamond double heart brooch with the initials IW for Irene Williams, which was produced for the film. Throughout the film, Irene Williams continues to wear various Lakin et Cie jewels of that period. At the time of the release, the film critic for the New York Times, Bosley Crowther, in reviewing Impact, panned the script and plot, writing, "If anyone seeing this picture is willing to string along with that as a fair definition of impact, we can't vouch for the film's appeal to him, for it seems fairly obvious that the authors have geared their intellects to the I can't even pronounce this. Suppositational level of that phony lexicon, and everything which happens in the picture is as cheaply an opportunist and contrived as that arbitrary definition. You either swallow it whole or you don't. Frankly, your correspondent doesn't." More recently, critic Gary W. Tooze praised Impact as a quintessential B film. As far as the modest film noirs go, this is one of the best. Simple plot ideas twisted to the max for late 1940s audiences. Diabolic called it a solid film noir with a decent cast and typically brisk handling. Lubin may not have been strong with horror, which depends heavily on mood, but with thrillers, which benefited from speed, he was fine. It's public domain. Cult Cinema Classics. It gets a whopping 7 out of 10 on IMDb. Impressive. 4,300 ratings. Very popular. 1 hour 51 minutes. 1949. An unfaithful wife plots with her lover to kill her husband, but the lover has accidentally killed her. Instead, the husband stays in hiding and he lets his wife be charged with conspiracy. That's the, here we go. Other movies like this, Too Late for Tears, Women on the Run, Pitfall, and The Chase. We love The Chase. I haven't seen the other ones, though. The other ones look good also. They all get 6.5 or higher. 6.5 to 7.3 on the IMDb rating scale. All 4 of these. San Francisco's successful self-made businessman Walter Williams has just bought 3 factories in Denver with the approval of the board of directors. His beloved wife, Irene, tells him that she is not feeling well enough to travel with him. And she asks him to give a lift to her cousin, Jim Torrance. On the highway, Jim, who is actually Irene's lover, tries to kill Walter, hitting his head with a lug wrench and throwing him off the cliff. And Jim has a fatal fiery accident while escaping driver Walter's car. Walter is believed to be the driver, and later his wife is sent to jail accused of plotting his murder. Meanwhile, the wounded Walter falls asleep in a moving van, and eventually he ends up in Larkspur, a small town in Idaho. He's hired as a mechanic in a gas station by the owner, Marcia Peters. For 3 months, Walter reads the news, expecting revenge, with Irene sentenced to death, and he and Marcia fall in love with each other. When Walter discloses the truth to Marcia, she convinces him to return to San Francisco and save his unfaithful wife. The situation changes when Irene accuses him of plotting to kill her lover Jim, and Walter must prove his innocence. That's the storyline according to Claudia Carvalho, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Taglines say, wanted by two women, one for love, one for murder. The building that served as the exterior of Sue Lynn's apartment is 834 Washington Street, San Francisco, California. It still stands of this writing. April 2019, almost completely intact. There's a business on the ground floor, but the 3 floors above it remain. Nearly all the adornments remain. It can be viewed on Google Maps Street View. So type 834 Washington Street, San Francisco, California in Google Maps. And click on the Street View. The end credits list the name of the character played by Mae Marsh as Mrs. Peters. Marsh played the mother of the gas station owner. The only time the mother's name is mentioned in the film is when Walter Williams first comes to the house for supper, and he calls her Mrs. King. Marcia Peters, the gas station owner, and her mother would not have the same last name, since Marcia explains when she first meets Walter that her husband was killed in World War II. When this movie was made, and in the small town where the character lived, a woman would not have kept her maiden name when marrying or returned to it after being widowed. She would have remained Mrs. Peters unless she remarried. Lieutenant Tom Quincy said, "Are you Sing? Understand? You understand the English?" Sing says, "Also French, Italian, and Hebrew." That was the Peter on. Philip on. Excuse me. That was the Philip on character, Sing. This movie was edited into The Green Fog, 2017. Soundtrack, It Can't Be, written by Leo C. Popkin and Chuck Gold. Here's a pretty flattering featured review on IMDb. This is by Second Take, dated March 12th, 2010 on IMDb. It says, great photography, great acting, tight and twisty plot. See it. Impact 1949. 8 out of 10 stars. An underrated, understated, nicely stylized, and tightly constructed film noir. The director, Arthur Lubin, is a B-movie figure with a lot of films to his name. And I'm going to guess from this one that there are others in the history that are very good. This has been running the noir circuits for a long time, and is especially noteworthy. The photography is Ernest Lazio. The photography by Ernest Lazio is especially helpful, and with some smart editing, it makes for a visually terrific movie, but the acting is great too. Yes, everyone fills some familiar roles for this kind of upper crust murder and cover-up, but it's tightly done, convincing throughout. Brian Donlevy is a fabulous and typically Donlevy industrialist who has to take on a second identity for part of the film. It's a great surprise. The two lead women, both the same age, 29, both with short careers, play two different types of women that the industrialist bounces between. The first, Helen Walker, is the clever rich wife. The second, Ella Raines, is a homespun girl who wants only for everything to turn out okay. Raines was a Howard Hawks discovery, and with her classic clean-cut looks, she even made it on the cover of Life magazine twice, on February 28th, 1944, and August 11th, 1947. One other character whose performance is sterling is Charles Coburn, playing the aging detective. A lesser role, but from remarkable actress A lesser role, but from a remarkable actress, is the maid played by Anna May Wong, who got stereotyped in the movies, but who is increasingly appreciated as the first major Chinese American actress. Yes, this is a great film for film buffs and a really good story for everyone. Make sure you have a clean DVD transfer to appreciate the photography. See www.dvdbeaver.com/film/DVD compare 10 /impact _ HTM for some info on that kind of thing. All right. So that's everything you ever wanted to know about Impact from Wikipedia and IMDb. I thought it was a great film noir. And it was great to see San Francisco in 1948. It looks so different now. It's got needles and drug addicts all over the place. Not in the rich neighborhoods, but in the downtown area, like you see Market Street and it looks clean. It doesn't look like that anymore. A lot of unoccupied buildings, and in fact, Westfield Mall just stopped paying their $500 million mortgage. They just didn't make the payment. I don't know what's happening in San Francisco. I don't know what's happening with this house. But the one sane place that we go to is the Latin Mass. We also went walking around Golden Gate Park for an hour, which is why I'm only done 2 movie reviews today instead of my original plan, which was 5. Next up on my list is A Stranger in Town, 1943. After that is Half a Sinner, 1940. Then it's Captured in Chinatown, 1935. Rimfire, 1949. And Deputy Marshal, also 1949. Some classic cowboy. Western classic cowboy. So that's what's coming up on my list. I took EBTA and some fulvic acid to get rid of the heavy metals in my system. I got it on Amazon today. Thank God. And I'm taking nanokinase, wormwood, and quercetin, plus all the Dr. Artis cocktail, the apopectin, the selenium, vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D3. All of that good stuff. So I don't feel like sleeping. I just feel like dropping him off at 8:30 and then going straight to Safeway for some more shopping. I should probably get some gas too before I go to work tomorrow. But anyways, should be getting 3 more DVDs from Netflix. If you've been watching my videos, you know which ones they are. I'm not going to go over it again. But thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.